Welcome to the Cyberpunk universe. My name is Aren, and this channel is going to be dedicated completely to Cyberpunk 2077 and everything that goes with it. If you're like me, then you've been waiting for this game for a while through numerous push dates and anticipation. So if you're as excited as I am, be sure to give this channel a like and subscribe and help us reach our subscriber goal of 1,000 subs. So, without further ado, let me get started. Like every good story, I believe you should start at the beginning. So, as soon as you open the game, your first decision essentially is your birth record, which means male or female. Whatever you want to choose, you go for it. After that, you really get into the harder decisions. So next up is the background check. Essentially, this is your 3 different life paths. This decision will make or break your game. It all depends on who you are and how you play and what you're drawn to as far as the life paths go. So be sure to listen closely and make the right choice for you. First up, we have a nomad. The nomad life path is the only life path that starts out outside of Night City. You start in the Badlands, which is where you're from, and you go from the Badlands and you work your way into the city to essentially make a name for yourself. Now, nomads have there's pros and cons to every life path. The nomad is considered a neutral party, so they are often either ignored or pushed aside by the other members of society, being the street kids or the corporate world, as well as gangs and everything like that. However, one of the biggest advantages to being a nomad is when you do have to go into the Badlands, you're already from there, so it's easier for you to communicate with those in the Badlands and doing all of those side quests and everything like that. Next up, we have a street kid. So the street kid is your typical born and raised on the streets. They typically grow up to either be in a part of, or to work for the gangs in the city. So essentially, Night City is basically run by the gangs, so as a street kid, you're doing a lot of work with them or for them. With this, though, you do start in the streets of the city, so you get to see kind of like the nightlife, and you get to see that aspect of the game and the map. As a street kid, you're raised to hate the corporate world. So, with that being said, you do gain quite a few street smarts along the way, so for you it's easier to communicate with those in the city, including all of the gangs and stuff like that, so it'll make it a little bit easier to form alliances, sell goods, everything like that, as far as being in the city. However, because you do hate corps, you're going to find it fairly difficult to communicate with those in the corporate world. So keep that in mind as you are considering a street kid. Last up is the corpo lifestyle, or life path. So as a corpo, you're not equipped with any street smarts. You're a part of the big industries, stuff like that, so you won't be able to communicate that well with those that are in the city, as far as like other street kids or gangs or anything like that. You will most likely have trouble doing that. However, you will be able to communicate fairly well with other members of the corporate world, which means you'll be able to do those different kinds of side quests and be able to access that type of dialogue. The last thing to mention with the corpo life path is you do get that secret romance option. There isn't a lot out there about it just yet, but we do know that the secret romance option is only available as a corpo. So, whatever that entails must be interesting. Okay, so after your background check, you go to your biometric scan. So after you make all of those big decisions about what kind of life path you want to lead, you go to your biometric scan, and this essentially is your anatomical and physical attributes. So this is where you can change your face, your hair, your scars. You can even decide what you want to do with your genitals. So if you want them at all, then there's that. You can choose between a penis or a vagina or none at all. And there's even more in-depth customization that goes along with that. You can also decide whether or not you want nipples. So whatever your preference, whatever you're feeling, you do you. After that, you get to your appearance. This is the material or visual attributes of your V. So this goes down to style and clothes and makeup and piercings. This is also where you will have the option to modify your eyes and your skin, as far as like tattoos, skin color, everything like that. So after you have all of that figured out, you know what your life path is, you know who you are, you know what you look like, everything like that, then you start to get into the biostats. So you are given 5 different biostats, each with their own skills, perks, and weapons. This is fairly in-depth, so hang in there with me. I will go through each one, so pay attention. So first we have the body stat. Body essentially is your physical traits, your stamina, everything like that. You rely heavily on shotguns and two-handed weapons, as well as melee attacks. So the skills that go along with a body stat are a street brawler, which in turn the perk for a street brawler are enhanced melee perks and attacks. You get athletics as a skill, and with that you get health and feature perks. And annihilation will give you shotgun and heavy weapon damage perks. So ultimately, with a body stat, you will have the ability to increase your critical hit chance and increase your armor and resistance. Okay, so then we go into reflex. Reflex biostat relies heavily on handguns, rifles, and blades. And with that, all of your perks are contingent upon those weapons. So all of your perks are directly related to what kind of weapon you're using and what you can do as far as upgrading, basically, and enhancing those weapons. So with this, ultimately, you will be able to gain an armor boost with a critical hit, as well as you can nullify weapon sway, which makes it easier to lock in on a target down your sights and make that kill shot. So the third biostat is intelligence. Pretty important depending on who you are. Intelligence skills go from device hacking and target hacking. So you can hack into other machines, and you can hack into people that have, or you can target attack on somebody that has cyber gear or any kind of modification, or like robots or anything like that. So the perks that go with this is you can basically perk up close and long ranged hacking. That's about it. This, however, ultimately you will be able to increase your breach time and your memory regeneration. Okay, and then after that, you have your tech biostat. So the technical biostat skills include crafting and engineering. With the crafting skill, your perks include, you get crafting and modifying perks. Engineering, you get a technical aptitude perk. So ultimately, this will increase sale price of crafted items, as well as increase tech weapon damage. Last but not least, we have cool. Cool biostat is essentially your nerve and how you perform under pressure. You know, like keeping your cool, basically. So this class essentially relies on sniper rifles. This is assassination and nerve. So your cool is that broad kind of spectrum as how you interact with others and how you maintain yourself, in a way, if that makes sense. So your skills with this will be stealth and cold blood. The perks for stealth would be a technical aptitude perk, as well as a cold blood state with your cold blood skill. This kind of goes into how you will be able to sneak around and stealth attack and stuff like that, as well as you know, going through the game with almost like with a level head, in a sense. So ultimately, the cool stat will increase, it can increase poison duration and your critical hit chance. So being as a sniper rifle, basically, you want to increase that, that critical hit chance. Now with each level that you gain, you will gain points that you can spend in your skill trees and your perk points and such. So with that being said, you just want to take into account how your playstyle varies from anybody else's and what you would like personally that would enhance your gameplay and enhance your experience in Cyberpunk 2077. So with all of that being said, I really hope I helped somebody out there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and please, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Cyberpunk 2077. Also, stay tuned, because when this game launches in December, I will be live streaming that day. I will live stream this game on the day of its release, as long as it doesn't get pushed back anymore. So again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.